powerful son of the king of Braj, you are the Lord of all lords. In accordance with your will, universal creation and destruction take place. In accordance with your will, Lord Brahma creates. In accordance with your will, Lord Vishnu maintains. In accordance with your will, Lord Shiva destroys. And in accordance with your will, Maya Devi constructs the prison house of this world. In accordance with your will, the living beings take birth and die. And in accord with your will, they meet with prosperity and ruin, happiness and sorrow. The living being, bound by the illusion of Maya, simply wanders hither and thither. Without your will, he cannot accomplish anything. You are my only protector and maintainer. Except for your lotus feet, there is no hope for me. Having given up faith in my own strength and endeavors, I am solely dependent upon your will. Bhakti Vinod is very lowly and poor. According to your will, he lives and dies. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Someone for Sri Radha?
Rajajana? Rajajana Manasukakari? Three six six. 366. Radhe Radhe. 366. Radhe Shyam 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 Radhe Braja Jana Mana Sukakari Radhe Shyam 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 Radhe Braja Jana Mana Sukakari Radhe Shyam 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 Hey Radhe Shyam 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 Radhe Braja Jana Mana Sukakari Radhe Shyam 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 Mor Mukuta Makala Kripa Kundala Galavajanti Mala Charanano Pura Rasala Radhe Shyam 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 Radhe Braja Jana Mana Sukakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam. Sundara Vadana Kamala Dalalochana Vankichita Vanahari Mohana Vamshi Bihari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam. Radhe Braja Jana Mana Sukakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam. Vrindavan में धेनु वृंदावन में धेनु चरावे वृंदावन में धेनु चरावे गोपी जन मनहारी श्री गोवर्धन धारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम राधे ब्रज जन मन सुखकारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम राधा कृष्ण मिलिया बदो गौर रूपावतारी कीर्तन धर्म प्रचारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम राधे ब्रज जन मन सुखकारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम तू बिना मेरे हो ना कोई तू बिना मेरे आउनु न कोई नाम रूपावतारी शरणन में बोलिहारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम राधे ब्रज जन मन सुखकारी राधे श्याम श्यामा श्याम Radhe Narayana Boli Hari Radhe Shyam Shyam Shyam. Radhe Braja Jandavana Sukhakari Radhe Shyam Shyam Shyam. Hey Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam. Hey Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam. Radhe Radhe Shyam. Hey Radhe Radhe Shyam. Hey Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam. Hey Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam. Radhe Braja Jana Mana Sukhakari Radhe Shyam Shyam Shyam. Jayo Radha Raman Bihari Radha Raman Bihari Radhe. Jayo Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Radhe. Jayo Guru Deva, Jayo Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jayo Guru Deva. Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo. O you who are the delight of the people of Raj, Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam. His crown is of peacock feathers, his earrings are shark-shaped. Around his neck is a forest flower garden, and the bells on his feet resonate Ras. Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam. With his beautiful face, eyes like lotus petals, and his crooked and inciting posture, he frolics in forests and hearts, captivating all with his artistry in flute playing. Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam. In Vrindavan, he tends the cows, absconds with the minds of the cowherd girls, and holds up Shri Govardhan. Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam. Radha and Krishna now unite in one golden incarnation, preaching the religion of devotional singing, Kirtan Dharma. Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam. Without you, I have no other. You incarnate in the divine name and in divine form. At your feet, rapture is found. This Narayan delights there. Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam. Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Ki Jai.
Akaya Chaksurunmilitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tudalai Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namah. Yang Pravrjantam Manupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahaka Taruha Juhava Putriti Tanmayataya Taravo Banidus Tang Sarvabhuta Hridayam Munimanotosmi Bhaktya Vihinai Aparadalakshay Shiptasya Kamadi Tarangamaje Kripamai Tvam Sharanam Prapadyam Brinde Namaste Charanarvindam Tavoivasmi Najivami Tambina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tam Nayamam Charanantike Kripayati Yadi Radha Padita Shishabada Kimaparavashishtam Pushti Maryadeyorme Yadi Vadati Chakinshit Smeraha Soditachir Dvijavaramani Panktya Mukti Shuktya Tadakim Shama Sundara Shrikanda Shekara Smeraha Samurali Manohara Radhika Rasikamam Kripanite Swapriya Charana Kinkari Karo Prananata Vrishabhanu Nandini Srimakabjara Salola Satapada Radhika Paratale Kritastite Tam Bhajami Rasikendra Shekhar Sambhidaya Dashane Trinam Vivo Partaye Brajamahendra Nandana Astu Mohantavati Vallabha Janma Janmani Harisvari Priya. First I offer my unlimited obeisance in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Diksha Gurudev Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Astotra Sat Shishimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, and the same unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Shiksha Gurudevs Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Astotra Sat Shishimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj, to our grandfather gurus Shishimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj and Shishimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, to all of his divine associates, all the assembled devotees, and the assembled devotees, Diksha Gurus, who are my Shiksha Gurus, Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta, Madhav Maharaj, Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta, Pan Maharaj and Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta, Siddhanti Maharaj. On the second day of our very auspicious observance of the disappearance days, oh, we didn't sing Jayani Loprinadana, disappearance days of Shishimad Bhakti Dwait Madhav Goswami Maharaj, Sri Rasikananda Prabhu, and Sri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Vasanti will be speaking, right? You have to leave in 15 minutes. She'll be speaking first about Srila Madhav Maharaj, and then Gudagraja Prabhu will continue his glorification of Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, and then we'll say a few words after that. So Vasanti Devi Dasi, please come forward. And please take a pillow. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Vishnu Vishnu Padasota Sochishima Bhakti Vigan Bhakti Goswami Maharaj and it's Vishnu Vishnu Padasota Sochishima Bhakti Ranta Swami Prabhupada. And on this auspicious disappearance days, festival days of Bhakti Dayat Madhav Goswami Maharaj, who's the guru of Srila Bhakti Vigan Bharti Maharaj, and Bhakti Ballabh Tirtha Maharaj. I feel fortunate. Oh, Narada got it. Yeah. And my pranams, Mati Sharmanidhi, to all the assembled devotees. I feel very fortunate, of course, fortunate and unfortunate simultaneously, that I'm like a sieve. What goes in comes out, and nothing really sticks to my heart. And at the same time, my physical body, my physical ears, my material ears, my material eyes, got to sit in the front of the holy presence of Srila Bharti Maharaj, and I got to hear a little something from him about his Guru Maharaj on his appearance and disappearance days. So one of the very first things I ever heard from Srila Bharti Maharaj, before anyone was coming to see him, me and Vaijanti Mala Didi, one of my senior matas, we went to go see him in Chandigarh, and he had no guards at the time. He had then he called him his policeman. Policemen would come and tell us all to get out and tell him to stop talking. But he had no one around him, and he would just sit in the sun on a chair by himself and speak to us in English. And his English was perfect because he's from Calcutta, grew up when it was run by the English, so he had such great English. And he was sharing with us that he said, I've learned from my Guru Maharaj, who's Bhakti Dayat Madhav Goswami Maharaj, I've learned from my Guru Maharaj that seva is very rare and very special, and it doesn't come easily. So whenever anyone asks, he's taught us that whenever anyone asks us to do any seva, we do it immediately because we don't know when it'll come again. And he also said to serve everyone, not to see any walls or distinctions. And so he said, I served all of the mats. So I've served all the Gaudiya mats. And he shared particularly with us that when after our Param Gurudev, Bhakti Pragan Keshav Goswami Maharaj left this world, and his Devananda Gaudiya Mat was small at that time, then Gurudev wanted to expand it. And at that time, you could only buy like two bags of cement at a time. You had to have like permits, and Srila Bharti Maharaj was an engineer, and he built the mats for his Guru Maharaj. And so he knew, and he had connections, and he knew how to get lots of cement. So Gurudev came to him and asked him if he could get the cement for Devananda Gaudiya Mat. And so Srila Bharti Maharaj did that. So, so that was one teaching he shared with us from his Guru Maharaj Bhaktidayat Madhav Goswami Maharaj. I've also heard a lecture, I wasn't there, but I heard a lecture of our Srila Gurudev in Australia in 1997 on his own appearance day, his own Vyasa Puja day. He was sharing what is the proper way to do Vyasa Puja, not thinking, oh, I'm getting all these gifts, all my disciples are going to give me money today, and today's my day, I'm going to get, he said, but no, that every glorification, that it's the extra day for Shri Guru to serve others, and that everything they receive, of course, they're offering, pure devotees offering straight up to their Guru Maharaj. So Srila Gurudev gave the example of Bhaktidayat Madhav Maharaj. He said on his own Vyasa Puja day, he served everyone. He served out the plates. He served out the prasadam. He gave donation to every sadhu. He gave the cloth that like the honorary cloth. And so Gurudev said when he came to me, he came and he gave me a chadar, and he gave me donation, and he served me prasadam, and he said, I'm not even qualified to be his disciple, and yet he's serving someone like me. So I found that very magnanimous to hear Srila Gurudev glorify Srila Bhaktidayat Madhav Maharaj in this way. So I just have two pastimes that I feel very connected with. I feel like Srila Bhaktidayat Madhav Maharaj, we've heard he was very much like a mediator, friend of all, a connector. He was any disciples of Saraswati Thakur, like Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, even our Param Gurudev, and whenever there was any movement or disenfranchisement or different mats were breaking up, everyone would go to him, and they would all come to him for advice and friendship, and to kind of lead and guide and instruct. And he also, but one beautiful thing that he did share, his vision of the so-called breakup of Saraswati Thakur's original Chaitanya Gaudiya Mat, was that it was Krishna did it for a reason, and he did it to expand the preaching. That Mahaprabhu said that the name Krishna should be heard in every town and village, and so by different branches, these are all different. Every acharya, every disciple, Saraswati Thakur, they had created a new branch, and these were still the branches of Mahaprabhu's tree, and so the preaching could go farther and wider. And I think that's a very beautiful outlook, because as we see, it happens all the time, even now. But the tree, it's expanding the preaching of the Krishna consciousness movement. So we read and we're so indebted to Srila Bharti Maharaj for compiling this volcanic energy and my beloved masters, because we learn so much conduct, so much etiquette, so much how to serve. And of course we can't emulate or imitate. These are pure devotees, pure, Manjari serving Radharani and the Kunj that have come to this world for us. But still, their teachings and their lessons at our level we can attain to, or we can aspire to attain to. So one being when there was a deity installation in 1936 in Assam. Did you guys speak this yesterday already? There was the sannyasi there. I don't remember his full name. Something Asha Maharaj. He was in charge of the temple, and he assigned out to one of the brahmacharis to get ready for Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's arrival. And 2 days when Bhaktidayat Madhav Maharaj arrived, along with Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, 2 days prior to Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's arrival, nothing had been done. Nothing was arranged, and they were very shocked. And so they asked the sannyasi what happened, why there's no preparations, there's no flowers, there's no Vyasasan, there was nothing ready. And he said, I've assigned it to this Prabhu, Niyam, what's his name? Nimananda Prabhu. And so he says he hasn't fulfilled his responsibilities in doing the seva, so what am I to do? And so Then the Maharaj, he took care of everything, but he asked Bhakti Dayat Maharaj to please tell their guru, to tell Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, please tell him what happened, that Nimananda Prabhu neglected his sevas. So Bhakti Dayat Maharaj didn't really want to do that, to like go back and like tattletale, but his godbrother, he's like, because my godbrother kept urging me, please tell Prabhupada, please tell Prabhupada, please tell Guru Maharaj. So one day when he was fanning him they were in the garden, he was in the garden with Saraswati Thakur and he was fanning him to keep away the flies. He told him that, Maharaj said that, the person he assigned the seva to didn't get it done. And so Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave amazing instructions. I should just read it. It's so beautiful. And Srila Bharti Maharaj says how much Bhakti Dayat Maharaj would relish. He'd be filled with transcendental emotions when he would narrate this incident, because Srila Prabhupada said, why do you desire so much? Why do you suffer so much? Why do you expect so much from Nimananda Prabhu or anyone else? Why do you feel so greatly pained when these expectations are not fulfilled? The service of Shri Guru is entirely your responsibility from A to Z. If someone helps you in this service, then you should feel grateful. Well, he was the Mat in charge. He was in charge, so getting ready for Srila Saraswati Thakur's arrival. But he signed it out, and then he was upset that it didn't get done. That's why I'm taking this really to heart. It's such amazing instructions. But if you fret over someone's refusal to help, then you will be at fault and not him. Srimati Radharani is Krishna's major domo. She considers herself responsible for all services to Shri Krishna. If some Saki helps her in even the slightest way, like her main man, like her, I was thinking like her beloved. What's it say? Right. She's Krishna's main girl. She's number one. Uh-huh. And I felt like it was like a yeah. Radharani's number one. Radharani is Krishna's major domo. She considers herself responsible for all services to Shri Krishna. If some Saki helps her in even the slightest way, for example, bringing water or grinding spices. Mm-hmm. So she's major domo. If some Saki helps her in the slightest way by bringing water or grinding spices, she feels indebted to her. But if no one is present to help her render service to Shri Krishna, she does not complain or feel any animosity towards anyone, even in her mind. So this was a very beneficial and very high instruction to us aspiring sadhaks. Just call me Dumbo. Okay, then one more, something I've heard also from Srila Bharti Maharaj directly, but it's so much more beautiful in this case. I know it's nice to tell pastimes in our own words and to make sure that, we've really, by telling them, they can go deeper into our own hearts. But hearing Srila Bharti Maharaj, his English, his choice of words and quoting directly from his Guru Maharaj, I found so beautiful. And I've meditated on this, and I love when these days come that we can, Srila Bharti Maharaj would say, when we remember the Acharya, that personality on their appearance or disappearance days, then we get even more mercy. And it's like, of course, they're giving mercy every day, but it's true. Like, I guess also because of our own mood, and they're meeting our mood. We're really like praying deeply to that personality on their days. So this is another really incredible, poignant point. Srila Maharaj says, Guru Maharaj once told me, during Srila Prabhupada's physical presence in this world, he mercifully made sure I was constantly busy. When I would return to Srila Prabhupada, after working hard to accomplish one task, he would immediately give me another task to perform. He did not have to ask anything about the first task because he knew that that I would not approach him unless that task had been completed. Although physically exhausted, I would experience unparalleled happiness to fulfill his order. I used to sometimes think that a time would come in my life when I would be able to live by a fixed schedule so that I could peacefully chant my fixed number of rounds, chant my Gayatri mantras at the appropriate times, and carefully read and study Vaishnav literature, just as some of my godbrothers did. But when after Srila Prabhupada left this world and I received plenty of time to do as I pleased, I lamented that I was no longer busily engaged in service in the way during my days with him. It was only after he externally disappeared from the vision of this world that I understood such laborious service is my very life. After realizing this, I always tried to keep myself as busy as Srila Prabhupada kept me. Hearing this, I understood just how appropriate it was that Srila Prabhupada described Guru Maharaj as having volcanic energy. So again, I at my minuscule baby drooling level, I feel like, that's so powerful and pertinent as well, because there's nothing like being so-called busy for Shri Guru and Krishna, Guru and Granga's service, and for the mission of Mahaprabhu. And talk about just the last thing he would say, when one task was done, the next task, all his godbrothers would say that where we stopped an endeavor because we couldn't complete it, Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, that's when he would start. So when they were all the godbrothers were trying to acquire the land, the place where Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada was born in Jagannath Puri, none of them could do it, and they were going to give up. And then that's when Bhaktivedanta Maharaj came in, and he started, and he acquired the land, and now we have that's Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Math, and Saraswati Thakur called him volcanic energy. Puri, in Jagannath Puri on the Grand Road, and then Rakeshwar Pandit. Every time I always look, I try to go there, and I look for Gornita. I think we need to put it back. I'm so used to Gornita was there, but like a year ago, but still. Anyways, he's still there. Behind Mahaprabhu is Rakeshwar Pandit, one of his associates, and he would dance for 72 hours straight. And so Mahaprabhu called him, right? Didn't Mahaprabhu call him volcanic energy? Wow. If I had another wing like him, I could fly. So Srila Saraswati Thakur called Bhaktivedanta Maharaj. She said he has volcanic energy because he could, like Rakeshwar, he would compare him to Rakeshwar Pandit, could go 72 hours nonstop serving. So praying for an inkling of Guru Nishta and faith and seva, as Sri Bhaktivedanta Madhu Goswami Maharaj has on this divine day. Okay. Vanchakalpatu Vishra.
Rodolfo, you came with more flowers. How beautiful. Tomorrow is Friday night kirtan, when we'll be having a lot of guests. So
yes, I saw it's a hard to party today.
Oh yeah.
I brought something very special. Krishna color.
Gorgeous.
For you. Krishna for you, for the temple, everything brought. I'm very blessed.
Are those purple orchids?
Yes, it's from Thailandia. In Brazil they faz, it's then dog.
Amazing.
Yes, it's very fresh. So this is gladiolo. It's open, so it be like a big towel.
Oh yes, right. What are they called?
Gladiolos.
Gladiolas, right.
Yeah, I brought two colors of this because I know connected to Krishna colors, So thanks so much for.
Thank you
life
so much.
changed. My life changed a lot after I started to offer flowers for the temple. I feel so much grateful. So I receive feedback.
You're getting it back, the Lord's mercy,
Yeah,
Radharani's mercy.
it's for my heart the first time. So I feel like I have disconnected more, connected. I know I can't stay so long time here because I'm
Yeah.
working.
Yeah.
But I mean, give it here, open my flowers for me is part of the mission that I have at the moment.
Amazing. Thank you so much for those beautiful words. Okay. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
And I feel the airport are beautiful guests. I hope they stay longer next time so you can all get to know these two amazing individuals here. They're so awesome. How are you? Next time you come for a week. 5 days. 5 days.
Have a safe and happy journey. Please come back soon. Hare Krishna Radhe. Dandavad Pranam. How about some prasadam for them to take? Vasanti? Vasanti? Prasadam? Okay. You couldn't sit cross-legged, could you? Because in front of the deities, that's the proper way. Okay. So now we're going to be luckily hearing from Gadagaraja Prabhu, who will speak to us about further glorification of Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. And at the end, if we could do Jayanilo Prema Dana.
Okay.
Do you know Jayanilo Prema Dana? Okay, at the end of everybody's speech.
Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. First of all, I'm offering unlimited Dandavat pranams in the dust of the lotus feet of my worshipful Diksha Guru Devi. Om Vishnu Padastota Sat Shishimati Shamrani Didi. Similarly to my Param Guru Devs, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnu Padastota Sat Shishimati Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Similarly to Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnu Padastota Sat Shishimati Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada.
And
to the
prasadam for
entire
Rodolfo.
Rupanuga Guru Varga and all assembled devotees. Dandavats Hare Krishna.
Can you take a little bit prasadam before you go? Okay. Sorry.
So I'll continue touching upon one drop of the unlimited glories of Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. And so I was guided to hear from Sri Bhakti Ballabh Tirtha Goswami Maharaj from his book Sri Chaitanya, His Life and Associates. And many of the pastimes that are here I spoke about yesterday, but there are some details that he emphasizes and also some important teachings in connection with Babaji Maharaj. And the first thing that he highlights is that in Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta's teachings and instructions, he often criticized solitary worship or solitary bhajan. But Srila Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Goswami Maharaj makes a distinction that this isn't the case for our great Vaishnavacharyas who perform solitary bhajan. He said, to the untrained eye, it might seem that because Prabhupada, he rather emphasized that people should collectively preach. Gostyanandi is this term. And that solitary bhajan is like a cheating propensity. And so based off this instruction, Srila Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Goswami Maharaj says, to the untrained eye, it might seem that the strength of an acharya is based on how many disciples they have. He says, but this is not the case for the Vaishnavacharya. He says rather that these Mahabhagavad Vaishnavas accept the path of a Paramahamsa lifestyle, taking Babaji Vesh, like Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj and Srila Gaurikishore Das Babaji Maharaj. Yet they are in themselves preaching by setting such a high example. Their life becomes their preaching. And in this way, they're actually great esteemed acharyas. Totally. So this is kind of what he mentioned. And he actually quotes from Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada himself on this regard, where this is what he makes a statement about Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. All these Vaishnavas adopted the lifestyle of Paramahamsa, preaching the path of pure devotion by their example. They are thus the objects of greatest faith and reverence for the whole Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Srila Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Goswami Maharaj explains, from this statement of Srila Prabhupada's, we learn that all these bhajananandis not only practice the anchor of the real life of solitary worship, but engaged in preaching activities serving as acharyas by their example. So really amazing teaching that is being brought out from the life of Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj in this regard. And so then one pastime that I found in here that I hadn't heard before was Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj and some of his followers they were staying in Vrindavan, and there was a man who was speaking on on Srimad Bhagavatam, giving discourses. But it was understood that this personality had some material motivations. Srila Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Goswami Maharaj calls him a money-minded Vaishnava. That's how he referred to him. And this particular person went to Vrindavan to speak. And the followers of Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj were not attending his lectures, and he knew this. And he was kind of, what's going on here? And he asked them about it. And he said, this is not actually the proper way to speak on Bhagavatam. He says, you're rendering no benefit to anyone, not even yourself, by speaking Bhagavatam and expecting to get paid like a occupation, giving Bhagavat Saptaha for a certain amount of money, like a business exchange. And by the purity of the example and the truth of what Babaji Maharaj's followers were saying to him, it completely purified this personality, and he actually became a follower of them themselves. So this shows the power of the purity of Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj and all of our Vaishnava Acharyas. And it said that he became so pure and so humble from that point on. He offered full Dandavat pranams to all the animals of the Dham. So surely he must have been influenced by Babaji Maharaj on this. And then another little thing that is mentioned, and actually Guru Devi brought this up yesterday about how it wasn't only on the case of realizing the appearance place of Mahaprabhu that he got out of his basket and danced, but actually at any kirtan he would get completely ecstatic and dance like that, even though in his old age he was completely hunched over. But when he would dance in kirtan, he would be like sick. All of a sudden, he would stretch out his whole length. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that the Vaishnavas, they would become so ecstatic when they would see Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj exhibit these symptoms of ecstasy in kirtan. And so it mentions his disappearance actual time, that it was early in the morning and they were in a kirtan like this. And not so many details are given, but one point there is that it says that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur lamented that the Vaishnavas are now deprived of witnessing the great ecstasies of Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj in kirtan. And another contribution that Maharaj gave is one time he told Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur that this is the day of Vishnu Priya Devi's appearance, the wife of Mahaprabhu in Navadvip. And so on the strength of that alone, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur took it that this is the appearance day of Vishnu Priya. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta on this very day established his Vishwa Vaishnava Raja Sabha, which I don't have so much comprehension of exactly what it is, but some formalization of his organizing his preaching efforts in kind of a big group. He inaugurated this collection on Vishnu Priya Devi's day. then one more really nice and interesting thing that Srila Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Goswami Maharaj brings up is in relation to Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, that as we know, after uh, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and his own Guru Maharaj, Srila Gauri Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj left the world, he was in great lamentation, very deep lamentation. Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada was in lamentation, his Guru and Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He was lamenting, and it's explained in here that he was thinking, how will I be able to fulfill the desires of my gurus by preaching Mahaprabhu's message? And in this way, he was lamenting and lamenting. And he mentions that he was in the middle of translating a commentary, Anuvritti, on Upadeshamrita, Srila Rupa Goswami's Nectar of Instruction. And he got to the eighth verse, and he stopped. He stopped there. But he received a vision shortly after in his lamentation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. And following behind them, Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, Srila Gauri Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and all of them knowing his heart, encouraging him and saying that we will be with you always. Everything you need for your preaching will be provided. And Srila Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Goswami Maharaj, this is his exact words, which are very amazing. Countless people, unlimited wealth, and extraordinary scholarship are all waiting for you to call on them. All of us are at the ready to support you at every turn. So then we know, as history goes to prove, that Srila Prabhupada was very much invigorated by this experience and preached. Yeah, all together. And they all spoke to him like this. Yes. Yeah, and I was curious about this. So it's explained that he wouldn't allow anyone to take a picture of him, Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur somehow or other convinced him to allow him to take a picture of him. One picture. So it said from this persistence of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, all the Vaishnavas were so benefited because they knew what Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj actually looked like. Otherwise, they would have no idea. Yeah, the one that's on all of the altars. Yeah. And there was one pastime that came to my mind. It wasn't particularly written down here, but I've heard it many times. And I didn't see it, so you'll have to confirm if it's bona fide or whatnot. But there was a story about one time he was being carried around by Bihari Das, his personal sevak, on the basket. And some man saw him, some very wealthy man, and thought, I want to give some money to Babaji Maharaj so he can buy something for himself, some food, some cloth, whatever he needs. Gave him a little bit of money. And so Babaji Maharaj accepted this and kept going. And then after a little bit, he told Bihari Das, turn around and go back to that man. I want to give him back the money. And Bihari Das was thinking, why would you do this? And so they go, and they couldn't find him, so they took all the effort to go actually all the way to the man's house, and he was a very wealthy man, 3-story house, knocked on the door, and Babaji Maharaj in his basket said, I would like to return this money to you. And the man was thinking, what, I have so much, this is nothing, please take it. And he said, as soon as I got this money, I was thinking, what can I get, what should I buy? And I stopped chanting my Harinam, so I'd like to return it to you. And so this is Babaji Maharaj's faith and chanting and the process. And so falling like a rod at his lotus feet, I pray that he may give us faith in bhajan and holy name and holy puppies. Gaur Premanande.
Good. Yeah, it brings you back there. So another example, he was saying he brought back the money, the little bit of money that the rich man gave. So a similar incident happened with Srila Bhakti Doit Madhav Goswami Maharaj. Some rich man gave him a gold pocket watch, and it was in a nice box, fancy box. So he didn't exactly know what it was. And then later on, when the man was no longer there, he opened it up and saw that it was a gold pocket watch. So he thought, I cannot accept this. So he found the man somehow or other and said, I can't accept this watch. Because if I accept this watch, then I'll start wanting to enjoy and think that I'm the owner of gold, because gold, as it states in the Bhagavatam, is one of the residence places of Kali, the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. And wherever there's gold, there'll be the other pillars of sin, like illicit sex, gambling, meat eating, intoxication. So he said, here, take this watch and sell it and buy some ornaments for Thakurji. That'll be a much better use of your gold. And then something a little bit similar is that when they first got the land in Mayapur, not Mayapur, the land of one of Srila Bhakti Doit Madhav Goswami Maharaj's land, a rich merchant approached him and said, I have a great idea how you can be self-sustaining and never have to go out and beg. He said, I have an idea for a brick business, because this land in Mayapur is good for making bricks. So you can make so many bricks, your disciples can make so many bricks, and then all you need to do is hire one accountant to keep the balance of incoming and outgoing money. So Srila Bhakti Doit Madhav Maharaj told him, whereas this is a very good business for making a poor man rich, it's a very bad business for devotees, because we're not here to make poor men rich. We're here to make the wealthy, to turn them into mendicants, where they will beg for just a little bit, and they will never think of accumulating money, accumulating wealth, but they'll only think of bhajan. If we do this brick business, then their whole minds will go to business. So now I'm only encouraging them to do bhajan, to chant, and to preach. So forget the bricks. Then he told another, I tell this story sometimes. I didn't know that it was from him until yesterday, because it was in Srila Bhakti Began Parvati Goswami Maharaj's volcanic energy, that this particular history came from his Guru Maharaj. So there was a big announcement that there was going to be a grand festival. And one of the highlights of the festival was that there are going to be 3 major, powerful spiritual saints present there that they could have darshana. So one man heard about the festival, and he started walking. There wasn't so much conveyances. And so he found this little, really tiny cottage because it started to rain, pour. And he went in there. It was so small that there was just enough room for him to lie down in. So he was doing that because it's the middle of the night. And then all of a sudden there was a knock on the door where there was another man who also wanted shelter in the night, in the storm. So as soon as he saw the man who opened the door, he said, "Oh, never mind. I see there's no room here. I'll just move on and look for another place." So the man who had been lying down said, "No, if there's enough room for one man to lie down, then there's enough room for two men to sit." So they both sat sitting and sharing Harikatha between the two of them. And then all of a sudden, but they weren't concerned about sleep because they were absorbed in the higher taste of Harikatha. And then all of a sudden there was another knock on the door, and another man had wanted to take shelter in the storm. So when the two men opened the door for him, he said, "Oh, excuse me, I see there's no room here," because it could only fit two people sitting. "So I'll move on and look for another place." So they said, "Why? There's so much room here for you. If two men can sit, then three men can stand." So they spent the rest of the night standing and enjoying, sharing Harikatha. And then the next day they went to the festival and found out that they were the three men who were the saints who everyone was going to see. And here was the example of saintliness. Right. Now, Srila Maharaj told another incident about the rain, which was that it was during parikrama and thousands of people were in tents. So his Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Dwait Madhav Goswami Maharaj, said, "Please go and check all the tents and make sure that no rain got in." So Srila Maharaj already knew that there was no possibility for rain to get in because of the way, I don't even know how to repeat the technical thing, technical ways. Trenches. Yeah, trenches, so the water would go in the trench and not reach the tents. Good, thank you. So he knew there was no possibility, but yet his Guru Maharaj wanted it, and he knew that his Guru Maharaj wasn't going to go to sleep until he was sure that everyone was safe and dry. So at first he said, "I'm sure there's no water." He said, "But go check anyway." So he checked anyway. Why did he check anyway when he knew there was no water? Because his Guru Maharaj wanted it. That's all. That was his only concern and controlling feature. And that he knew that his Guru Maharaj wouldn't go to sleep unless he was carefree that there was no water. So then he went and checked, and then he went back to his Guru Maharaj. And then his Guru Maharaj said, "I will now go up to the roof and make sure there's no water there, because on the roof you can't dig a trench." So he didn't want to go up there because it was the women's tents. But it was the order of his Guru Maharaj. That was all he cared about. And so he immediately went up there, and there was another man, another brahmachari, who was also checking, and he was already coming down the stairs. And he said, "I already checked, there's no water getting into the tents. I saw it." So then he went back to his Guru Maharaj. He said, "There's no water." He said, "Did someone else see?" "Yes, someone else saw." And then he felt happy, and he was able to lie down and go to sleep. So this is an amazing teaching, because he already knew there was no need. But that wasn't his concern, that I know more than my Gurudev. It was my Gurudev wants it. And so that's how you make advancement. It was his point, by following the order without any consideration. And then we get blessed with the bhakti. What is that verse that we sing? Yashak Prasadat Bhagavad Prasada. If Gurudev is pleased, then Krishna is pleased, and you make advancement. And Yashak Prasadan Nagati Kutopi. If your spiritual master is not pleased, then, in Srila Prabhupada's words, your whereabouts are unknown, or you're nowhere. Then there was another incident. There were some guests during parikrama, but it wasn't parikrama in Vrindavan. It was in a place like Chandigarh, which is just a big city. And the brahmachari had been thinking, before the guests came, that we hardly have any pots, and the pots are so small. How are we going to make rice for so many people? So these pots cannot fit one more person. Yet different guests came. And so he approached his Guru Maharaj that there's just no pots big enough. So his Guru Maharaj, Srila Madhav Maharaj, said that that's not the point. We treat the guests how? As good as God. So this is a dham. Chandigarh is not a dham. But he was considering it a dham because, as Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, or wrote in his kirtan, which one is that? It's the Ekadasi kirtan. Shuddha Bhakta Charanarenu. That I want to go to the places of Gaura's pastimes with the Pranay Bhaktas. And I had asked the same question. I said, what are we doing in Chandigarh during Kartik? And he quoted this same verse that his Guru Maharaj quoted, that I want to go to the pastime places of Lord Chaitanya with the Pranay Bhaktas. That is, those who have love for Gauranga in their hearts, they have the pastime places, because wherever there's Gaur is his pastime place. So I want to go where the devotees have the pastime places in their hearts. So thinking that this was now a dham, because the Pranay Bhakta is here during the parikrama time, he said to the sevaks, to engage guests or new people in seva is more important than doing seva, more important than doing seva yourself. I'm too busy, sorry. I have things to do. But to take the time to engage the new people and guests if they're interested in doing seva, that's more pleasing to the Lord. And let them hear Harikatha. If there's a choice between hearing Harikatha, because it's going on by some bona fide sevak who's speaking Harikatha, but some seva has to be done, then better that the senior devotees do the seva so that the newer devotees can hear Harikatha rather than them missing Harikatha. And he said we should also engage in serving them. That will inspire them for coming more, and also inspire them in their bhakti, and always give them prasadam, never to think, oh, we don't have enough. Once, I don't remember whether this was mentioned yesterday, but because Atul then asked the question that our Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, asked Srila Bhakti Dwight Madhav Maharaj that we have a big party and we'd like to stay in your mutt during the whole parikrama time. So Bhakti Dwight Madhav Maharaj said, yes, but you can only stay if you don't make arrangements to take prasad anywhere else. That you have to agree to take prasad at our mutt. And so then, that's what happened. Hare Krishna, Nityaram, welcome. So then, now we're in Srila Gurudev's mutt, and there was one devotee there was about 10 guests who came to our mutt and asked if they could stay. He said, yes, but we don't have enough prasadam. You'll have to make other arrangements for your prasadam. And Gurudev was there. And when he heard this, he said, what? Srila Bhakti Dwight Madhav Goswami Maharaj had arranged for hundreds of us to stay in his mutt and insisted that we take prasadam. And now 10 people from his mutt came, and you can't even feed them and accommodate them. So immediately that sevak went and told the disciple of Maharaj who had just come, no, you have to take prasadam with us. So like Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj taught by his example as a Bhajananandi. So Srila Madhav Goswami Maharaj taught how to serve as a Gostiyanandi, as a preacher. And another thing, this is the last thing, another thing was that when he had a mutt that still didn't have enough accommodations for guests, and somebody gave a donation. So he invited all the Vaishnavas to come so that he could feed them. And he held a 3-day festival. The first day for the pure Vaishnavas, second day for regular Vaishnavas, third day for just general guests. And then somebody complained to him that you were given so much money and you don't have accommodations in your mutt yet. You know, you need to still build more buildings. Why don't you use the money for that? So Srila Maharaj said, I'm sure later someone will donate money for these accommodations. But right now, there's an opportunity to feed and serve so many pure Vaishnavas, his godbrothers. And this opportunity may not come again. So I'm taking this possible rare opportunity to serve them. And he would always do that. Whenever there was an opportunity to serve his godbrothers, he would always take that advantage, thinking it may not come again. So Srila Bhakti Dwight Madhav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. And there's one pastime that I forgot to tell about Rasagananda Prabhu. I think I forgot to tell it. That is, he was a great devotee of Lord Jagannath. So once, when it was Rath Yatra time, and of course it's not like you can hop on a plane or a bus and be a couple of hours late for the Rath Yatra festival. But he was detained, and because of that, he knew that he was going to be days late, and he was in too much anxiety. So he was hurrying to get there, but it was days late. So Lord Jagannath was so much taken by his devotion that he refused to move. You know how sometimes the Raths get stuck for a few hours or even a day or two, like it was stuck by Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house, waiting for him to come. And then he got to put his son on the chariot and get Lord Jagannath's sweet rice. So he waited several days. Jagannath waited several days and didn't move the carts. And see, there was a thing where, like now you mentioned the Grand Road. So there was a grand, or Vasanti mentioned it. So there's a grand road that's about, it's not like just a place, a street where cars go, but it's like a river wide. It's so wide. How wide would you say it is? A few blocks maybe, the Grand Road. And so, Width.
100 and something meters.
Yeah, very, very wide. And so now it's all land. So Jagannath can get from his temple to Gundicha just riding. But in those days, the days of Rasikananda Prabhu, there was a river in between. So instead of being 3 carts, it was 6 carts, 3 on one side of the river. Then they would take Jagannath on a boat across the river and then put him on the chariot again on the other side. So this was all stalled for days because of Rasikananda's not being there. And as soon as Rasikananda came, immediately the cars started moving. So all the spectators could understand the influence of Rasikananda Prabhu. So, Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. And now we're going to sing Jayani Lo Premadana because we forgot to before. So, that's on page 99. What?
One question.
Yeah,
You mentioned gold.
gold.
Yes. Many times it is said. Radia. Many times it is said in India that Maharaj Parikshit actually was influenced by Kali through his golden crown. But I never read that in any Gurudev's Prabhupada or any Acharya's comment, but they very put forward that argument
Who?
that Maharaj, well, in the Bhagavad Saptaha and official speaking about Parikshit Maharaj like this.
Of Gurudev's disciples?
No,
Of who?
some can be from Vrindavan. Someone.
I can't vouch for it if it's not from
Yeah.
the people that I know got it from Gurudev
Okay.
or our Guru Varga.
Yeah.
What was it that you said? I forgot. Kali Yuga brain. What did they say?
They said that
Oh, Parikshit Maharaj was influenced by Kali.
by crown that was made of gold. So Kali Maharaj entered.
Oh, Kali Maharaj entered his crown.
Yes. Yeah.
Actually, Maharaj Parikshit was so uninfluenced by Kali that even though he was cursed to die in 7 days by a snake bird, he left his body before the snake bird bit him. And he's a gopi, he's even more advanced than his guru, Sukadeva Goswami. So, page 99. You ready? Wow, look at all those flowers. Phew.
Jayanilo Premadana Karuna Prachu
Janilo Premadhana Karuna Pracho
Ye anilo premadano karuna prachu
Janilo Premadhana Karuna Pracho
Heno Prabhu Kota Gela Charyataku
Eno Prabhu Kota Kela Acharya Tago
Kahamura Swarup Rupa Kaha Sonatan
Swarupa Ka Sanata
Kahadasaragunata Patita Pavan
Kadas Varu Nata Tapa
Kahamura Bata Juga Kahakavira
Kamo Patayuga Ka Kavira
Eka Kale Kota Gela Goranatara
Ekakale Kotagela Kora Natara
Pashane Kutivo Mata Anale Poshivo
Shane Kutibo Mata Anale Pashibo
Gaurango Gunera Nidhi Kotagile Pavo
Koranga Gunera Nidhi Kele Pabo
Sesava Sangira Sangi Je Koilo Vilas
Sabha Sangira Sange Chekoila Pila
Se Sangana Paya Kande Narotamoga
Se Savata Paya Kande Narota Ada
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare
Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna
Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur.
Vaishnav Thakur, Vaishnav Thakur, Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur.
Prabhu He, Jai Jai Prabhu He.
Jaya Prabhu Hai, Prabhu Hai, Prabhu Hai, Prabhu Hai.
Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo.
Nitai Gaura Haribo, Haribo, Haribo,
Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo.
Nitai Gaura Haribo, Haribo, Haribo.
Shri Vaishnava Thakur ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai, Srimati Gurudevi ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Hari.
Thank you for bringing us to Bengal. To Navadvip, to Mayapur. Okay, we did it. They're pleased.